Hi guys. All right, so we are going to look at some rounding today, and the first thing that we're going to look at is this place value chart. So up here I've got the hundredths, tens, ones. I've got my decimal point, my tenths, my hundredths, and my thousandths. So everything, first off, well, let me back up a little bit. The first thing we need to know is we've got to memorize those. To the left of the decimal point, to the right, you need to know what order they come in. It's on your name tag, and it's also in the room posted on the wall, just to look up and use as a reference. But you really need to have those down. So another thing that you need to know is that everything to the left of the decimal point, these are all whole numbers, and everything to the right of the decimal point, these are all parts of your whole. So it's not a complete whole, it's a part of one. These are our decimals and our fractions. So last year in fourth grade, we learned about tenths and hundredths. And then this year, we've added the thousandths place. So now we've gone 3 digits to the right. And so tenths, hundredths, and thousands are those decimals and the fractions. And so what we've been practicing in class is taking those and rounding them. So for example, like this one says, what is blank rounded to the nearest hundredth? So let's go ahead and put in a number. Let me clean this up here. And let's go ahead and put in a number where we can actually go and solve that question. So let's say we have 159 and 463 thousandths. So 159 and 463 thousandths. The very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pay attention to what I'm rounding to. So if I'm rounding to the nearest hundredths place, then that hundredth right there is super important because it tells me what number I'm going to modify. So where I'm going to start at. So here's my hundredths place, and I notice that if I'm at the decimal point, that's 2 spots over. So here, if I'm at the decimal point, I'm going to go 1 spot, and then I'm 2 spots. And so that's going to be the 6. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to box my 6. So the thing in class that we are practicing saying is find your number in its spot, go next door and see what you've got. So we're going to go next door to the right. 5 or more, we're going to raise the score. 4 or less, let it rest. So all these numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those are the let it rest numbers. And the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, these numbers we're going to raise the score, or sometimes people say add one more. We're going to bump up that 6. But in this case, next door is a 3. So my 3 over here, here's my 3. That one is a let it rest. And I always talk to the kids in class, like we always talk about how let it rest. Like if mom says or dad says, let me rest, like they don't want you to bother them. They want to be left alone. You're not going to go up and say, mom, 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 dad, dad, dad. You're going to leave it alone, right? Let me rest. I'm resting. I'm tired. So same thing here. If we let it rest, we're not going to change it. We're going to just leave it the same. So the 6 stays the same, and everything to the right runs to 0 in a fright. So what this ends up equaling, if we're rounding that number to the nearest hundredths, everything to the left stays the same. So that would be 159 and 46. Remember, we're leaving the 6 the same. We're letting it rest. And then everything to the right of the box is going to change into a 0. So this would be our answer when we round that to the nearest thousandths. Or I'm sorry, not thousandths, hundredths. All right, let me try another one here. All right. Let's do 457 and 466 thousandths. All right, so we're rounding to the nearest hundredth. Again, we're going to find that. So if you remember, it was 2 spots over. So here's my decimal point. We're going to go 2 spots over. And again, it's that spot there, that's 6. So we're going to box it. We're going to go next door. This time next door is a 6. So a 6 is over here, and it's on the 5 or more. We're going to raise the score side. So now what this is going to look like is we're going to have 457, and the 4 is going to stay the same. But now this number in the box, because we're raising the score, it's going to bump up to the next hundredth, which would be a 7, and everything to the right is going to run to 0 and a fright. So 457 and 470 thousandths would be our answer. All right, let's get rid of this. You too. All right, now I want you to try one by yourself. So let's do 694 and 123 thousandths. Go ahead, pause the video after you write this down, and then remember your steps. So your step 1 is you're paying attention to this. We're rounding to the nearest hundredth. So which one? Think about your place value chart. Think about your place value chart. Where is that hundredths place located at? And then you're going to box that number. Then you're going to go next door, see what you've got. You're going to ask yourself, is it 5 or more or 4 or less? Then you're going to decide what you're going to do and go ahead and change it. Remember, everything to the left of that number you boxed is going to be staying the same, and everything to the right of your box is going to run to 0. And so that thousandths place should turn into a 0. All right, let's see if you got the right answer. So you box the, let me get, not my eraser, let me get this. All right, so you boxed that 2, you went next door, that told you to let it rest. So you should have gotten 694 and 120. There we go. 694 and 120 thousandths. Did you get it right? Hopefully so. Yay, if you did. If not, let's practice one more. All right, let's see. Let's do some. Let's do 45 and 747 thousandths. All right, so go ahead and try this. I'm not going to say the steps. You do the steps on your own. So go ahead, pause this video and solve. We're rounding to the nearest hundredth. All right, so let's see if you got it correct. So let's see, we're rounding to the nearest hundredth, so we're going to box the hundredth place. We're going to go next door. That 7 tells me I'm going to raise the score, so I know that this is going to turn, everything to the left is staying the same, and then it's going to turn my 4 that I boxed, it's going to bump that up to a 5, and everything to the right is going to run to 0 and a fright. So I've got 45 and 750 thousandths. Another way you could write this is 45 and 75 hundredths. You can take off that 0. It has no value at the end. It's just saying you don't have any thousandths. So you can say it either way. Same thing, same value. All right, did you get that one right? Here's a smiley if you did, yay. If not, I'm just making up these numbers, so go back, get that place value chart down, Make sure you understand this. Look at the anchor charts in the classroom, and let me know if you're still struggling and need help, okay? All right, guys, thanks for watching.